God's peace and joy is ours. Let us be still and listen to the truth. Welcome back, fam. We made it to lesson 118 of this powerful material we have been studying together. Today we are going to be reviewing lessons 105 and 106. So go ahead and open up the book if it's not on the page already. And if you don't got the book yet, the PDF is in the description. Let's go ahead and dive straight into today's lesson. All right. 105. God's peace and joy are mine. Today, I will accept God's peace and joy in glad exchange for all the substitutes that I have made for happiness and peace. Now, I'm sure we understand by now that only what God created exists, and whatever me and you create apart from God, we can't call creating at all. We could call it making because it's not really there. So me and you, from time to time, and we talked about this yesterday a little bit, fall asleep and we make images and we project those images, and we are not doing this knowingly, by the way, which is why to the sleeping mind or to the sleeping person, we sound insane discussing this information right now. But from a higher bird's eye view, understanding what we've been studying for the past 118 days, we understand that there are two aspects of ourself. One is real and one is not really there. There is who God created, which is love and light, and then there is the ego that we made for ourselves with the guards up, who has to prove something, who feels like it's not enough, who feels like it's more than everybody. That ego that we made out of the sense of separation, and that ego took on a body, which is what you see right now. And remember, the body's eyes can only see things of this world. The body's eyes can only see separation. The body's eyes can only see the illusion that me and you have made for ourselves. Now, that doesn't mean we're stuck here, and that doesn't mean that we can't enjoy our time in these bodies. It just means that me and you have to do something about reawakening to the truth that really is, reawakening to who we really are. Now, what happens whenever we are in our right mind, whenever we are as God created us, me and you extend that love, and we create as a result of extending that love. And whenever me and you are being the ego, that part of ourself that we think is who we really are, that sense of separateness and that fearful self, or that egotistical self, that prideful self, whatever form that fear may take, whenever we think that we are this, we are still creating, because we are always and cannot change the fact that we are as God created us. So we still have power over here, but we can call that making, because whenever we are making something out of fear, out of this self over here, we are not really creating at all. We are simply projecting our own sense of lack, and all thought creates form on some level, like we discussed yesterday, which is why it's important for us to really be aware of not so much our thoughts, but the way we feel, because the way we feel is an indicator letting us know whether or not we are creating or we are miscreating, whether or not we are thinking a thought that is extending love, or we are thinking a thought that is projecting fear and therefore going to return fear back to us in ways such as sickness, cancer, car accidents, lack of whatever resource that we feel like we need in this world. That's what it looks like whenever we are projecting those thoughts. They come back to us. And whenever we are in this state of mind that we have been practicing so faithfully for the past 118 days, we are going to purify that old thought system that doesn't exist. We are going to purify our minds and return to love and return to truth, so that way we can finally create not only a beautiful internal world, because that doesn't need to be created, because that is what and who me and you are. We don't need to create what God already created. We just have to accept its presence. And what we're doing whenever we are being the ego over here is we're denying truth. Most people are denying truth, not knowingly, and maybe some even knowingly, thinking that this is the way, egotistically and genuinely believing that that over there is the way. but that's also another form of the denial of truth, because truth cannot be changed. So it's not so much that me and you created a beautiful life for ourselves internally and externally. That's just what has always been there. And us being in our state of enlightenment is shining light on what already is. Remember, light is that which reveals what is. So me and you being the light of the world are simply revealing what is and always has been and will forever be there. That is what we are doing with our brother over there, with our sister, with our mother, father, cousin, friend, enemy, whoever it is that may be appearing out there as separate from that body that you are currently embodying, and may appear separate from this body that I'm currently embodying. Me and you understand at this point that we are not these bodies. We are the love and light that animates this body and those bodies as well. We are all one here. And whenever me and you do something about being the light of the world, we wake up those aspects of ourselves. And if they are interested in what you have to say about all of the stuff that we have been discussing here in this powerful course, and they like the sound of that, then introduce them to our little sessions, and we will wake them up. We will wake up different aspects of ourselves, and once they wake up, which only takes an instant, remember, we do not have to do anything to be who we already are. So we can literally snap someone in an instant from sleeping to being in the realization of, oh crap, I just had a revelation. This is really what's happening here. But the only thing that me and you have to work on now with that individual, if they are willing to, is practicing this for a consistent amount of time to help them remain here forevermore. Because although a miracle, which is only a healing, a situation that heals a perspective, that heals your perception, or a miracle is that thing that occurs in this world that causes you to shift from who you think you are to who you really are. That is a beautiful state of mind to be in, which is what we are experiencing now. But most people only experience this state of mind for little instants. They get little glimpses of this and they fall back asleep. So those who are willing to learn how to stay here, it is your job to help them, because the more you help someone else and teach this information, remember, what you teach, you are also learning. So you have to be careful what you're teaching. If you help that individual by who is really genuinely interested in wanting to know what you know, and you teach them, first of all, you're going to be reminding them of who they really are, which is a benefit. And you're also going to be benefiting yourself, because what you do to anyone else, you also do to yourself, because that is exactly who that person is you. And not only that, but whatever you teach, you are going to strengthen, which is why what me and you are doing here is so powerful, because we are teaching this information together, and we are not only benefiting one another, but we are strengthening this in our minds as well. So every party involved is being benefited. And we have to remember that, and we have to remember that there are individuals out there who are different aspects of ourselves who are ready to hear this information, and you are essential to God's plan for salvation. You are essential to their remembering who they are as step number one, and you are essential to helping them practice this until they become independent from you, where they no longer need you as a guide, because they have finally returned to the guidance which has always been there for them, which is within. So we are doing something much bigger than I think we realize from time to time. Today, you will accept God's peace and joy in glad exchange for all the substitutes that you have made for happiness and peace. Today, me and you will accept God's peace and joy in glad exchange for all the substitutes that we have made for happiness and peace. 106. Let me be still and listen to truth. Let my own feeble voice be still, and let me hear the mighty voice, for truth itself assure me that I am God's perfect Son. Let your own feeble voice be still, and let you hear the mighty voice, for truth itself assure you that you are God's perfect Son. One more time. Let my and your own feeble voice be still, and let us hear the mighty voice, for truth itself assure us that we are God's perfect Son. That is exactly who we are. Me and you are created in the likeness and image of perfection, which means you are perfect. You are perfection and a masterpiece, and so am I, and so is everybody else. We are no more than anybody else because we know this. We are simply just a little more awakened to the truth that they have equal access to. And because me and you are awake to this truth, we can share this truth and bring them over here in this holy circle that we have built around us, where it is impossible for any form of fear to enter, because fear is the stranger here. Me and you are not. This world is heavenly, it is beautiful, and me and you here in the state of mind are literally putting our hand on anything, and everything we touch turns to gold. Every person we come across becomes enlightened. Me and you are that powerful. So let's make sure to stay anchored in this state of mind. And the more we do this, the more powerful our abilities become, because our awareness of them is there. Everyone else also has these abilities, but because they are unaware of them, they can't use them. Just like how if you walk into a room and it's dark and you've never been in that room before, you can't turn the light switch on, therefore you can't receive the benefits of the light because you're unaware that there's a light switch right to the left of you. Everyone else has these abilities, but because they're unaware of them, they need me and you who are aware of them to remind them of what they have forgotten. Now, on the hour, let's remember, God's peace and joy are mine. And on the half hour, let us not forget that let me be still and listen to the truth. We have some very powerful tools, and we are going to use these tools whenever we are asleep. And we are going to give these tools away to those who may benefit from them. And we are going to pause here, and we will come back here tomorrow for lesson 119 of this powerful, beautifully written course. I will see you there.